Welcome back to the 305K podcast. We're going all the way out into Singapore for the race this weekend. Super exciting. We've also got guest predictions coming later for the race. I need all the help I can get with those. I had 0 points last prediction video, so I'm outsourcing the job to someone else. But we got a pretty big race this weekend. Lots of implications for the championship fight, especially with Max Verstappen kind of drawing close with the two McLarens. What do you think?
We're coming off a really odd race weekend, which was Baku, and I think I think Max could have like this good weekend, but I definitely think it's going to be different from the previous races. Singapore's more of a twisty, turny track and kind of
Hmm.
short, not short even, but like compact compared to these long straight tracks like Baku and
Yeah,
Monza.
absolutely.
It should definitely be a different race than we've seen, but Max is definitely making it more interesting than we both thought a couple weeks ago. I didn't expect him to win
Hmm.
the previous two races, so it'll be an interesting race for sure.
Yeah, and I think there's a lot of countering sort of storylines that we have, which is first of all, Verstappen has a lot of momentum, but at the same time, Norris last year won this race by 20 seconds just about. But if you remember last year during that race, it was pretty far from like a super smooth sailing result. There was a lockup that he had where he was about, this close from going into the barrier and losing it all. And Verstappen also had a very strong race there. Even though he finished P2 20 seconds back, he was still P2, and split the two McLarens at a time when that Red Bull car was looking really questionable. So we do. I still think it's a very long shot that Verstappen gets back into this championship fight, but at the same time, we know he's able to hook it up over a lap, and this is a track where qualifying is everything because it is going to be really hard to overtake during the race.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm very excited for qualifying. It's such a crazy track because it's such a long lap to where you need to be so good for like I think the times are usually like a minute 40, minute like
I
44s.
think
They're
that's right. Yeah.
high lap times, long lap times. So it always provides for an interesting qualifying because on one hand, you might be able to make a mistake somewhere and still take pole or a very high position, but also like it's
Hmm.
qualifying. You basically need to be perfect. So it'll provide for, I'm sure, great qualifying.
Yeah, well, and not to mention putting yourself up at the top is a really big opportunity with the difficulty to overtake. I also wanted to point out that there is some amount of rain on the forecast. It was raining earlier, I saw, and it's supposed to rain a little bit over the weekend. That could be a huge decider. Um, Not just because rain itself is a big difference, but especially on a street track like Singapore. I think if there's some precipitation, that track is going to be like glass driving over. I mean, there's gonna be absolutely no traction. And we could see a ton of incidents qualifying and in the race, which huge disruptor like in Baku.
Absolutely. And it's funny because I always picture Singapore as this country with like no range, total dry, completely hot the entire time. Like 2023, which we saw was a brutal
Yeah.
race.
Well, it's very
Um,
humid.
Oh yeah, absolutely. But it is
Hmm.
surprising to me whenever I see a day like today, which is today's Thursday, and it's just downpour like
Yeah.
there. And you're like, how does it even get like that at this circuit? And granted, it is a night race, so it's like you don't really see the
Yeah.
clouds much, but it's
Yep.
definitely interesting to me. Just and yeah, if it's rain, which it has been, I mean, we saw in 2022, Checo won that race that had rain involved in it.
Yep.
So I think. Um,
Uh-huh. Well,
but
it's a big difference, and a lot of the race itself on Sunday is going to be built on strategy and mistakes, where you're not going to be able to get by if you have two guys who are driving well, even if there's a little bit of a pace offset. It's going to need to be, going deep, going like for an undercut, overcut, whatever it is. It's going to be built a lot on the pit walls, and
mhm.
rain is really the big decider in terms of creating more strategic decisions and more chaos. And I think that especially with, the climate in Singapore where it's very humid, we could see like an absolute downpour for about 5 minutes and then
Yeah.
dry up, and then you have another decision where you have to get onto the intermediates, get off the intermediates, and it just builds a whole strategy game between the teams that's going to be super exciting to see.
Yeah, absolutely. And I saw something earlier today saying that they raised the pit lane speed from I think it was 60 kilometers to an hour to 80, which is the normal like 50 miles an hour for us Americans. I
Yeah.
wonder, do you have like any thoughts? Like, do you think that would make any sort of difference with how tight that pit lane is?
Well, I think that it'll definitely make teams more inclined to come in. It shortens the stop time by a little bit. I'm not sure how much of a difference that is, but I'm thinking for sure, they have all the calculations. I don't have them in front of me, but they know exactly how
Yeah.
much time it takes relative, and maybe that is the difference between doing a one stopper and a two stopper. I really don't know. This track is really, really hard to overtake on. Um,
Yeah.
it's not my favorite track. It's not even close. Last year, I think it was my least favorite race of the year. Um, and
Yeah.
unfortunately, I
That
think
being said,
it does lend itself to be a strategy track rather than a racing track.
for sure. I hate to say it though. In 2023, it was probably my favorite race of the year because it was the only race not won by Max
Verstappen
Verstappen
didn't
in it,
win,
which
yeah.
was, it was such a like, you're just praying for anything. And you finally saw
Yeah.
Red Bull have like a really bad weekend. And you're like, man, this is really entertaining. But granted, the last 15 laps of that race were really good with Sainz, Norris, and Russell all going at
Yep.
it with Russell going into the wall in the last lap. I mean,
Yeah. No, absolutely.
uh,
I think it is a quietly another testament to the difficulty of overtaking because part of that chaos was the fact that you had two guys sitting behind Carlos Sainz who couldn't get by. And, it became a little bit of a DRS train. There wasn't a moment where you could kind of push one up the inside because it's so tight. There's not that much there, and a little bit of margin for error, and you don't go off the track, you go into a wall, and your race is over.
yeah,
So I think that
for sure.
guys are more inclined to just take the position that they're in. It's a very physically grueling race. I'm not sure I can talk, I can speak to that as much because it is just very hot. But I think a lot of this mutual survival attitude that guys have, especially if you're someone like Leclerc who's not really fighting for all that much. If you're sitting P3 and you have Lando in front of you in P2, you're not going to force the issue too much unless it's right there for you. Because
Yeah,
that could very well be your race over if you do.
yeah, for sure. It's always hot there. I mean, it's hot,
Yeah.
humid, like you mentioned. It will get, I'm sure, 50,000 things on our Instagram feed of all the drivers in their ice baths
Yeah.
with their. It's
Yeah, yeah,
always
for
a race
sure.
like that. But
Yeah,
I
Russell
mean,
last year was struggling with it a lot.
yeah, was it last year? Or was it Singapore where George Russell had that whole It was because I
Yeah,
saw
it
it on
was.
Drive to Survive. Russell had that whole panic attack because of how like hot he was.
Yeah, I think his body
And
overheated.
it just it proves to the race and like also what these drivers deal with on a week to week basis and these tough
Yeah.
tracks like Singapore and Qatar where it just gets so hot in that car. It's really impressive that they can do this week in week out.
Yeah, and just because we couldn't go an episode without it, but between Lando Norris and Oscar Piastri, this is what Piastri wants to be a bounce back week. Lando Norris, I think, wants it to be a bounce back week for himself too. I think they both have something to prove in this race. Um, Maybe Lando more so because he's still behind, but Lando had a very strong performance besides a few mistakes at this track last year, and I think that I'm going to sort of open it up to you here, but I do think that he has a good chance to slice into that championship league.
I do too. It seems like just compared to last year, a track that he really is good at, comfortable at, and I do think it's going to be a McLaren centered weekend. I just unless the rain plays a major factor and really flips things up, I just think it could be a very orange weekend, honestly.
Yeah,
Um,
but we will see, and I think that's what makes F1 great this year is that we do have all this mystery, and we do have to. Well, we don't have to do it this week,
predict
but you do
it.
have to predict it. Yeah, so I think it's just about time that we bring our guests on and see what they think.
We're here to do our predictions for the Singapore Grand Prix. I'm here with my girlfriend Ava.
And I've got my friend Johnny. Okay.
So as we normally do, we'll start with our prediction for poll. Ava, you want to start us off?
Sure. Okay. Okay, my voice is a bit dead right now, but I think Pole is going to be Max because I looked at the weather and it's going to,
Mm.
and he does good in the rain.
I like that.
That's
Johnny,
that's
do you have
great
similar
insight.
insight? Johnny, have you thought about it as that much?
I've thought about it, and I think Paul is going to be actually Lando Norris
Why is that?
because Lando Norris has a really good car and he's a good driver. Yeah.
Hey,
I love that. I
that's a
love
good
that.
point.
Oh yeah.
Jax, what do you think?
I'll follow that. Yeah, I'm same with him. I'm taking Lando Norris. I think it's going to be I said earlier, but a very orange weekend.
hmm
How about yourself, Tucker?
You know, Lando got it last year, so I actually am happy with the Johnny's pick. That might help me out. I'm gonna split the vote here. I'm gonna go Oscar Piastri just because I think that I like him a lot, and I think he has a good chance of getting on pole. These are all good picks, though. Like
That works.
I thought a Johnny was gonna come in here and be like, I think Franco Colapinto, and I was gonna be like, ah. But okay, we're all in the ballpark now. All right, so
Yeah.
now we got to go to the big one. Now we got to go to race win and podium.
Ava, I guess Johnny's moving right now, so you can
Yeah, Johnny's traveling to Singapore.
start us.
Johnny's going on site.
All right. Ava, who you go winning? Who's your podium?
Okay, winning, I again think Max because it's still going to be raining on Sunday. It literally just says rain the whole weekend. So Max. And then second, I think is going to be Oscar just because he like wins a lot of stuff this year. And then third, okay, realistically, I think third is going to be Lando, but I want it to be Alex because this is his home race and I'd really want to see a podium from him on his home race.
I like that. I like that.
Yep.
I like the pole and the race win connected. I think that makes sense on this track. It's hard to overtake.
Do
What
you
about you,
think,
Johnny?
do you think Jackson texted her exactly what to say and she's just reading off a script?
No,
I don't think
God,
that
I
Jackson.
Any of
I
these.
actually do not think that Jackson texted her to say Alex Albon podium.
That's
Guys,
a
I
he
do
good
doesn't know
not.
Jackson-
any of
No.
these. He told me
Jackson
not to
doesn't
tell
know
him.
ball.
I don't. This is all a surprise.
Jackson does not know ball.
I would like to say Max would win, but I did see an Instagram post that said that Max has won on every single race except Singapore. And I just don't think that I mean not today, sorry. I don't think that the race will be that the day he wins that one. So
Mm,
first place, I'm actually gonna go with Oscar Piastri.
I like that, John. You did your research.
Oh yeah.
I'm
And
really proud of you, actually.
and second place, I'll do Max Verstappen.
Mm.
And in third place, I'll do George Russell.
Wow. So you have Lando getting
that
pole and
pick.
then not finishing on the podium.
Yeah.
Interesting. Do you think he's gonna
Someone
crash?
my
Or do you think
Baku
he's just gonna
prediction.
be like questionable?
Hey, that might be a later prediction.
Maybe
We
yeah,
don't
maybe
wanna
that's
give any
bold. I'll
spoilers.
keep my powder dry there. Yeah. I think
Uh,
for me, I'm sticking with Piastri. Pole race win. He's I think in play for even like a Grand Slam. P2. I actually really like Ava's prediction about Max. I think he's gonna be good. So I'll go him P2, and then I don't think I put a Ferrari on the podium. Oh no, I did put a Ferrari on the podium last weekend, but I'm still gonna do it. So I'm going Charles Leclerc number 3.
Ooh.
big shock there. Big shock there for Tucker putting a Ferrari on the podium.
Big shock that I have a Ferrari. Yeah.
Yeah, so for my podium, I am gonna go with my pole prediction and say Lando Norris is gonna win this race. I think I don't think he's gonna give up pole. He's gonna have a pretty strong overall race weekend, probably pretty clean, but I mean, we really don't know. Second
Yeah.
place, I'm not gonna go like Baku and have him off the podium. I'm gonna have Oscar Piastri in second place.
Mhm.
McLaren 1-2, probably gonna not be the most exciting, but I think it's probably the most realistic out of any pick. And then to
it's not
finish it
interesting.
off, yeah, no, not at all. But to finish it off, I am gonna go the same as the Johnny and go with George Russell to finish P3. He was P4 last year, and yes, he did crash out when he was P3 in 2023, but I do think he'll finish up there on the podium.
Yeah, and usually puts in a good drive in Singapore, even though, that last lap incident was kind of it was a moment rather than a performance. Like he was driving while the rest of it.
Yeah.
Johnny, you agree?
You said what?
I say you agree.
I agree. I agree.
Okay.
All
All right, now we get surprise points. Johnny, what do you think?
Surprise points. I do think that Lance Stroll will
Ooh,
have some points because I have heard that he does good in the rain, and Ava said that it's gonna rain. So yeah.
this is a great prediction, Johnny. I love that.
He's good.
I'm very proud of that. Good prediction.
This is more surprising. This is more surprising than I thought. I thought we'd have like some surprise.
I got absolutely zero
No, I
points
wasn't-
last week. So I literally,
I know.
I'm working from ground zero here and we're building up. So I'm very happy with
Yeah.
that prediction, Johnny. I love that.
Yeah.
Ava, who's your surprise points?
No, I think it's gonna be Carlos Sainz because he did really good in the last one. So
Wait, oh yeah, it's me. So I'm also gonna actually have Carlos Sainz because he's coming off a big weekend at Baku, and he won the race 2023. He had a kind of mediocre showing last year in P7, but I think
Yeah,
Sainz will definitely have a good race.
Yeah, I kind of, if you've watched a little bit of the show, you probably recognize the fact that I don't really like Carlos Sainz. He did crash in qualifying last year, and it wasn't even on like a push lap. It was on a warm-up lap. He put his foot to the
I d-
throttle around the final corner and went straight into the wall. So I don't know if I see him getting the points. I kind of want to go for more of an outside pick. And I really like the performances that Bortoleto was putting this year. So I'm gonna pick Bortoleto as my pick for surprise points.
Yeah, that's good. What big flop? So, John or Avi, you want to start us off?
No, he can go first.
Okay.
Just say the Ferrari. We know you're
I
going
was
to
gonna
say
say
it,
Lewis
Johnny.
Hamilton, but his dog just
Yeah.
died, and I feel like that's just that's not.
I think he's gonna put in a revenge performance.
Yeah. So honestly, I think surprise flop. I'm gonna say Charles Leclerc. I'm gonna say surprise flop. It's Charles. Yeah.
I don't like that prediction.
I'm sorry, Tucker. We can't always agree.
You
Wait,
know,
did
I
you,
I, I knew it was coming. And it still
did
makes me
you
sad.
did you pick him top three? So wouldn't
I
that be
picked him on the podium.
All right.
All right.
Ava, you're up.
Okay, Tucker, you're not gonna like this.
Everyone's just
Oh,
making me
here it
sad
comes.
with these bold predictions. Are you kidding me?
Sorry, not even just Charles Leclerc. I think it's gonna be all of Ferrari. Yeah,
Ooh,
sorry.
wow.
Oh my
Oh,
God.
he's out. He's gone.
Do we have like any reasoning?
Okay,
Do we have
because
any reasoning behind these?
there is reasoning. Okay, because Charles Leclerc had a like do not finish like sad photo shoot. So I feel like it's gonna be a repeat of that. And
Ooh.
then Lewis Hamilton is depressed because his dog died. And that makes you really sad. So he's not gonna do well.
Neither of you guys are
Like,
getting invited on again. How do we have two
oh,
Ferrari flop predictions? Are you kidding me?
It's it's
yo,
it's
this is bad.
it's
Oh
inevitable.
wow. Okay. You know,
Justin,
Tucker,
you
I'll
go
I'll
first,
take the next
please.
one because you probably need a moment to recover from both of those. I actually want to take with the Ferraris as well. But I decided to go with Yuki Tsunoda because I really don't think the Red Bull's gonna be good. But I don't think Max is gonna be far off the points. So I think Yuki's just not gonna have a good weekend at all. I thinking like a crazy P17 or something.
Okay. So I've decided to give my big flop as a spiteful prediction. I'm gonna say big flop Alex Albon. This is not quite a home race for him, but as close to it as you can get. And Ava, you put him on your podium, so I'm saying that he's gonna be a big flop. Just as a little bit of offense. I think I've been playing defense with the Ferraris all predictions, like all during these predictions. So now I'm gonna play a little bit of offense. Alex Albon is gonna have a bad race and gonna make you disappointed while the Ferraris go on the podium.
Last prediction we got is our bold prediction. Ava, you're up.
Okay, I have two hot takes. So
Ooh.
the first one is that there's going to be another. So you know when Charles Leclerc didn't finish and he had that very sad photo shoot on the side of the I think there's
Yeah,
another
in
one of
the
that.
Netherlands.
And I don't necessarily think that it's going to be him again, but I think somebody's going to have a sad photo shoot because it's raining and the raining makes it more sad. What, Jackson, what? And then my second hot take is kind of unrelated. I just have to say it. Lando Norris needs a Tate McRae. Okay.
I don't think that one's gonna come true this weekend, I gotta say. Although I've heard that
No, it just needs to be
maybe
out
she's
there.
booking business class to sing. Johnny, what about you?
What I think is gonna happen, I think that all right, how about this? I'm gonna say there's gonna be one like 4 second pit stop. Like
So like a longer pit stop.
a driver's gonna completely mess up. And a driver what are they called? The
Pit
Pit
crew.
crew.
where it was gonna completely mess up. And it's gonna be a long pit
Alright.
stop. And I'm guessing it's gonna be
That's good.
Ferrari. I don't know.
I think you literally just came onto rage bait. Okay, here, should I share mine?
Yeah.
Last week
Yeah, you can.
I went for a destructive one last week where I said like 3 DNFs and then it did not happen at all. There were like
Is there
one.
a single DNF?
Yeah, Piastri. It's a pretty
Oh
big
yeah.
one.
You texted me about that. You're like at 9 a.m. I wake up to a text. It's like, ah.
Yeah, because you were rage baiting me about the Ferraris
And
the day
then
before, so I got my revenge.
Ferrari got P8 and P9. Yeah.
Yeah, although I have no expectations for Ferrari anymore anyways. Um, my bold prediction for this race, we're gonna know if it happens by the end of turn one. I'm gonna say I want to say at least two drivers out by the end of like turn two, or by the end of lap one, we'll say. How about that? Two
Okay.
drivers out by the end of lap
Yeah.
one. I
Like,
think the first
Yeah.
two corners of this track are really hard to fit 20 cars through. Last year they did it, but you look back at the famous, I think it was Verstappen, Raikkonen, and Vettel, where they all went out from the first three positions on the grid by the end of turn four, and it was massive
Yeah.
carnage in the first few corners. I think this track is the first corner is a big decider because it is so hard to overtake. So I like a big.
Yeah. I could see it happening, especially in a wet race. I mean, 20 cars through those two corners are very difficult. So, for my hot take, I'm gonna say Lawson is gonna be in the top 6. And
Ooh,
the reason I say it is because it's his first time back on this track since he took, I think it was P10 in an AlphaTauri, and like beat Max in qualifying. So
yeah.
I think he's gonna come back to this track, which I think he likes from the one race that he's like raced in. So I think Lawson will have a really good weekend. Um,
Yeah, I like that. That was
and
kind of the
that
apotheosis of Liam Lawson when he was in that second RB a few years ago. It was kind of his big showing in 2023, and that's kind of the reason why he got the Red Bull seat um, in combination with a couple performances last year. But he does like this track, and he's performed here before, so I can definitely see that happening. Thank you guys for coming
exactly.
on.
And
I
exactly.
appreciate the input. We appreciate the predictions. Hopefully it garnered some points for both of us over the weekend. It was great having you guys on. Um, Probably be another time, but super excited for this race this weekend. I know at least Jackson is. I hope you guys watch. It'll be really fun.
yeah.
I don't
You
know.
might have to wake
I'm
up
waking up
before
at
your
9
alarm.
Sunday, but
Yeah, it's 9 a.m. But
Yeah, I
that's
don't
what
have an
that's
ESPN subscription
yeah, me neither.
you can watch the highlights on YouTube
or a
afterwards. Even
TV.
better.
It's early.
Yeah, it is early. Anyways, thank you guys so much for coming on. We really appreciate it, and we will see all of you next week.